Hello, folks. I am back, and I'm here to talk about the comparison between the Hudson H9 as well as the Daniel H9. I got a chance to shoot both of those, but before I do that, I want you to go check out Core Essentials. Core Essentials is known for their belts, but they also have other equipment and accessories. So just go to their website, and you can use my discount code Keenan10. That's capital KEANON and the number 10 all together. So let's get right to it. Now, number one, I'm going to let you know firsthand, I do own this Hudson H9, but I do not own the Daniel H9. The Hudson H9 that I used was this one, and the Daniel H9 was a rental at the shop I work at. So it was pretty a decent comparison to be able to have both of those firearms together. Now, if you want to see that comparison, me shooting that, you can go and look on YouTube. And what I'm going to do is I'm also going to link that in with this video as well a little bit later on so you can see what I'm talking about. So like I said, this is my Hudson H9. And I'm going to show clear for the YouTube gods as always. A lot of people think that's a waste of time, but who knows how fickle YouTube can be. So there are quite a few differences between the Daniel H9 and the Hudson H9. Let's start with looking at the Hudson H9. I'm going to get these mixed up, but I'm going to try to keep it straight. So the Hudson H9, if you look at it very good, you're going to see that the front here kind of looks more like a RoboCop gun. If you look at this front right here, and this is where the recoil spring mechanism is. And you're also going to notice a slot for accessories. Now, on the Daniel H9, this has been eliminated. This whole section here has been eliminated. And I'm going to show you right here. And excuse me for moving the camera around. And I'm not good at editing, so I'm going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. So, as you see here, you notice that that front I was telling you about is no longer with the trigger guard. Instead, they raised it up here, and now you have your Picatinny rail here. And it kind of it makes sense because if you have to put lights and lasers, the traditional lights and lasers are going to be right here, right at the trigger guard. Now, on the Hudson, you're going to notice that it's going to be right here, which means that your light or laser is going to be right down here. So that was a good thing that Daniel Defense has done on as far as, let's say, upgrading the firearm. One of the other things is you're going to notice is there's going to be this takedown lever here. Like you do, it's similar to what I would say like a Glock takedown lever. That is different. And you'll see your slide release controls are similarly the same in this area here. The magazine release is pretty much the same. So if you look on here, the takedown lever is here. What you do is you push this, after you take the magazine out and you rack the slide and lock the slide, you do push this through, and this comes down in a fashion similar to, let's say, a SIG or something of that nature, and then you're able to take the slide off. This particular one is made a little simpler, so it can be a little bit more Glockish, where you can take it down, lock the slide, or pull back, well, not lock the slide, but pull it back a little bit and take it down like your traditional Glocks. Even though that is kind of tiny, but it does work, so you can't really make any complaints there. One thing I have to mention is this, the Daniel H9 is basically the size of a Glock 19. The Hudson, on the other hand, is pretty much on the size, I would say, a full-size firearm, maybe a Glock 17. There are going to be some other differences. One of the differences is the weight of these firearms. Now, I didn't have a scale to weigh them, but it is very evident as soon as you feel it that the weight of the Daniel H9 is much lighter because they're using a aluminum frame. This one, however, is going to be of a steel frame, so it's a lot heavier. Another thing you're going to notice is, I don't know if you can see it, is the way the trigger here is kind of like scalloped in this area. It's not going to be the same right here. One of the things that I've also noticed on the differences between the Hudson and the Daniel is not only the way this trigger is broken in, but shooting comparison, when you're shooting this firearm, the trigger on this one, and it's broken in, it's a little bit easier to pull, or a little bit, I would say, crisper. This one is a little bit stiff, in my opinion. I think it's because it's new, made to be has to be broken in, or maybe there was some other reason for that. Another thing I also noticed, the magazines, which is really interesting. I just popped out the magazine here. These magazines will fit in this firearm, in the Daniel. And they fit no problem, and they fire with no malfunctions. No malfunctions at all. However, you cannot use the magazines in here and into the Hudson because the magazine is too short. Now, my understanding is with the capacity of this magazine here is the same, or roughly, I believe it is the same capacity as the magazine in this new Daniel version. So the magazine is bigger, but with the same capacity. Hopefully I got that correct, but if I believe their capacities are the same. But this magazine will fit, and it does work flawless. Both firearms shooting, they work flawless. So there are no problems there. There was no issues with any malfunctions or anything of that nature. One of the other differences, this one is going to be optic ready. Unfortunately, this one is not optic ready. The sights are a little bit different here. These are the original sights that were on mine. And if I can get a close-up, these are the original sights here. On this version, on their sights, there is it's a little bit, the rear sight's a little smaller than on the Hudson, if you look at the Daniel very well. I think that's probably due to that they have to put an optic on here. The front sight is a fiber optic instead of the sight here. I believe these are, let me read that, these are Trigicon sights right here. Getting back to the shooting impressions, I did feel that the Daniel was a little bit, I'm not going to say overly snappy. It's kind of like a little bit snappy, but it's not over snappy. Like, because this is steel, this seems like it shoots more like a 1911 where the slide goes straight back. This comes back, it comes back straight, but it's just a little bit more, it seems a little bit more snappy. Not much. I'm trying to get that right, but I don't want to say that it's snappy or overly snappy, but I could feel the difference because of the weight of both of the frames. Now, one of the other things that I would say that I like about them, about both firearms, they are really, now accuracy, I was pretty much rushed, but I'm just going to tell you, the shots were right here. If you can get it, it's a little bit, my shots were a little bit like here, a little bit like fist size. One of the things I was disappointed with the Daniel, maybe the sights were off. I think it was either the sights are off or I was not gripping it properly, but my shots were on the Daniel were becoming low and left. And a lot of people with experience know if you're shooting low and left, it's something wrong with your grip. So I was fighting to get the proper grip. And I think what it is that the with the Daniel, I think it's a little thinner for some strange reason. It's a little thinner that I had to keep readjusting my grip. I have no problem with this, even though the dimensions seem the same. Maybe it's because the longer grip, maybe it's me. I'm going to have to shoot it again, but I believe that I think I like the grip a lot better on this one. And if you look at the grip texture on this one, it's different from the grip texture a little bit on this one. I guess I should have had more grip with this because of the way the grooves are here. These grooves here seem to be, I think it was kind of be like lines per inch checkering, but definitely if I had my hands wet, I would probably lose my grip on this. There's texture, but pretty much not what it should be. I will say this about both firearms. I am very proud that Daniel Defense did take this gun back to market. I'm glad that they did it. I am a Daniel Defense fan. I only use their and own their AR-15. So I'm very proud that this company did do this. One of the things that I'm going to say is this a niche firearm, or are these Daniels and Hudson's niche firearms? Are they really firearms that you can carry? I think Daniel went with the market of trying to make this a carry firearm, as you see with the pick rails that I was talking about, right up front here, and the way they changed the trigger guard action there. And I think maybe down the line they're going to expand this or do something to this. Maybe have a larger one. Maybe do something with the grip panels with the aftermarket companies. I can see a good future for this firearm. But for me right now, I can't look at it as a carry firearm. Not yet. I can't see it as a carry firearm. Maybe they'll do something that would change my opinion. It's a good range firearm. It's a good conversational piece. But I don't see it as a carry gun as of yet. I wouldn't even carry this one. I don't know. As far as aesthetics, I like these aesthetics better. I like the way this looks. It's got that futuristic vibe to it. But the reality is, I think it makes a little bit more sense to have this more upgraded with the optic cut and also with the Picatinny rail for future carry purposes. But who knows what Daniel Defense is going to do in the future with this firearm. So let me know in the comments your opinion about both of these. I will link my shooting video with this. I don't have any complaints. I can't find anything negative to say or anything that maybe, I don't know if this is going to be a niche firearm or whether it can be carryable. And I'm pretty sure they are going to shut me up thinking that this firearm is not a carry firearm. So with that said, happy shooting, stay safe, #2A.